Hey, 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 thank you so much for keeping me company today. I am Jules, the founder of What the Heckery, where we talk about missing people's cases, all things true crime, unexplained, paranormal, all of that kind of stuff. Basically, anything that makes us go, what the heckery is going on in the world today? If you are a lover of that too, then please subscribe to the channel, considering giving this a thumbs up, and let's get into talking about the beautiful summer wells. I'm going to be doing a series of videos. This is the first. Was it an accident? Now, I have no evidence to suggest it was an accident. I want to make that absolutely clear. This is just a theory that I think needs to be considered and talked about, and I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments section below. Let's keep it nice, keep it kind. Different opinions are welcome, but please, 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 let's just be kind to one another, guys. There's enough hatred out there in the world. We don't need to add to it in this comment section down here. So, where is Summer Wells? Could it have been an accident? I really think it's important to get the focus back onto Summer and finding out the whereabouts and what happened to her. There's been so much talk about the parents, which is unsurprising, given the antics and the game playing, and now there's so much drama between YouTubers. Everybody seems to be competing for attention, and I think the focus is getting lost a little bit, and we need to focus on bringing Summer back home and finding out what has gone on. Now, as soon as I heard about little Summer, my heartstrings were absolutely tugged. The way that she was described as an animal lover, a wild child, always wanting to be outside, exploring, adventurous, the boss of the siblings, completely ruling the family, it sounds like just as I would describe my own 7-year-old daughter. Therefore, I totally get the often unkempt demeanour, that grubby face, the dirty fingernails, the unclean clothes, and the messy hair. I totally get it. I understand it because my daughter loves the great outdoors too. We are fellow countryside dwellers. We live relatively in the middle of nowhere. It's a never-ending battle to keep my daughter looking as if anybody cares for her. But she just doesn't care herself. She's too busy having adventures, looking under rocks to see what lives under there, finding the bugs and looking for new beetles to discover and all of that kind of stuff. And I totally love that about her. So I totally understand when people are looking at these photos and thinking, that poor child, she looks so uncared for. Actually, if she is an outdoors loving child like mine, it's incredibly difficult to keep them looking clean 24/7. But could this adventurous outdoor spirit lead to possible dangers? Is it possible that an accident could have happened that day? Maybe the parents panicked. After all, Don himself has suggested, in his own words, that he always knew something would happen to Summer, and he said that he was always warning Candace to keep an eye on Summer. Don suggested that Summer may accidentally get hit by a car or something. He just knew that an accident was going to happen to Summer one day. So did it? Looking around the outside of the property, it's really easy to see how an accident could happen. As a fellow countryside, middle of nowhere dweller, I can say it isn't really unusual to see old farming machinery, scrap metal, junk and old vehicles just wasting around on a piece of land. It might not be right. It might not be safe, particularly when children are around. But it really doesn't kind of shock me because I'm used to seeing it. And I think part of it with this case is the difference between town living and country living. That's not to say that children are neglected or anything like that if you live in the countryside. It's just a different way of life. We're used to seeing children with dirty, grubby faces and dirty hands from where they're bug hunting and exploring and climbing trees. And sometimes I think people that haven't lived that way are a little bit kind of shocked, perhaps, at the state that some children can look in after a good day playing outside. Now, as for the inside of the home, I'm definitely not what people would describe as house proud myself, to the extent I am not always tidying or always cleaning. I have come to terms with the fact that my home is never going to be a show home, as when you live as we do with a bit of land and animals, life can seem like an ever-ending battle between muddy footprints, welly boots, doing the laundry and keeping on top of everything. But I can honestly say that My home doesn't look like the inside of their home, but no judgments here. But one thing I did really kind of think was bizarre was that table and the staircase that went down beneath it. I can totally say that I have never ever in my 46 years ever seen anything quite like that in a home. I don't know what you guys think. Is it normal over there? We're in the UK. It's definitely not normal to the extent that I have seen over here. But I'd love to know your thoughts on that. So please leave a comment below if I'm just being preposterous and it's completely normal and just the way that some people live. That's cool. But do you think that somebody who could have fallen down those stairs? To me, it looked really unsafe going down there. I think you had to go down there backwards. Looking at it on the video, I could be wrong on that. It would have been very easy to have missed a footing perhaps, especially if Summer was really excited to get down there in a bit of a hurry and she wasn't really focusing and concentrating. Very easy to miss a step and fall down. I mean, it's easy enough to fall down a normal staircase. We all know that sometimes we have close calls. So that just seemed to be a little bit precarious to me, but let me know your thoughts. And then we go to the outside again. Did something happen at the waterhole perhaps? I'm going to do another video covering dry drowning or secondary drowning and just have a look at some of the symptoms of that and see whether we think that could have been a possibility in this case. Again, I have no evidence to suggest that, but I do want to put the theory up for discussion. But then we hear that Summer loved being outside and she loved playing on the swing. So could an accident have happened of the swing? Now, I loved that swing because it just screams to me traditional outdoor childhood, which is just something that I am so all about with my kids. But they can be dangerous. Did she swing too high? Did it swing in the wrong direction and it could have hit the trees? Perhaps. Did she fall from the swing and hit her head on a rock? Who knows what happened in this case? We really do just need to discuss all options and see if we can find any evidence to prove these theories, because at the moment we're finding very little, it seems. Could she have tumbled down a bank? Could she have been hit by a reversing car, as Don suggested? Could she have fallen out of a tree? If she was like my daughter's, was she a tree climber? Did she fall out? Could she have clambered over the scrap metal or the vehicles and fallen that way? Did something happen with her brothers? Did one of them push her out the way? We've heard that she liked to chase them on the motocross bikes. Did an accident happen there? But then we have to ask, as parents, wouldn't we immediately seek help for our child if there had been an accident? And yes, of course, the majority of us would answer yes, absolutely, we would seek help. But what would Don and Candace have to lose if they were to be found to have been neglectful and not supervising Summer properly? Perhaps drugs tests would have found something. We know that there is a history of drug use in the family. We know that there is a history of abuse in the family. It suggested that CPS was already involved, so the risk of losing the boys would have been very high. Don already has a lengthy criminal record, so the return to prison would have been very probable. Could they have thought that if something had happened to Summer and it was instant and gone, could they have thought, well, Summer has gone. There's absolutely nothing we can do to bring her back, to help her in any way. But we've got to focus on our boys now. We've got to focus on our family and the boys that we have, the children that we still have. And yes, that sounds horrific and it sounds heartless. And as a parent, it baffles me that you would think that way, but I can kind of understand it, that you would think there's nothing that can be done for Summer right now. So let's focus on our boys and the remaining children that we have and protecting those. They wouldn't want to lose the boys. And of course, they wouldn't want to lose their freedom. Nobody wants to go to prison, right? So if they thought that there was any way that they were going to go to prison, that they were going to be seen as neglectful in any way, then perhaps they could have panicked and just decided, let's cover it up, let's tell a lie and just say that Summer has disappeared. So what do you think, guys? Do you think that that is a possibility? Do you think that an accident could possibly have happened? She might have fallen, that she might have fallen down the stairs into the basement, that she might have fallen from her swing, that she might have just hit her head on a rock, fell down a bank, chasing the boys on the motocross bikes. Do you think it might have even been something to do with the boys accidentally? Maybe they pushed her over and she hit her head. Nobody is suggesting that something was done intentionally to her, of course, but we all know that accidents happen. You see it all the time, people getting into fights and things and then falling and hitting their head awkwardly. So I think let's have a discussion. Talk about it, but please be kind. We all have our own thoughts and feelings and theories, but let's just talk about this one. Do you think an accident could have possibly happened and there's been a cover-up? But then we have to think about, where did they take Summer's body? What happened? So that opens up more questions. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Please subscribe to the channel so that we can keep in touch. I'd love to get to know you better and find a true crime crew that I can talk through things with, because like I say, there's nobody here at home to listen to me drivelling on. So I would love to find people that understand my love of true crime and just wanting to know the truth without any drama. So you take care of you, and until next time, keep learning, keep doing, keep watching, and let's find the truth.